So let's start with autumn then.
Yep.
I mean,
Good.
if international visitors or Australians from, say, Sydney or Melbourne came to Canberra in autumn, in March, April or May, what should they expect at that time of the year from the weather and things to do?
Okay, so autumn is a very pleasant time in terms of the weather. So it's not too cold, and so it's just a very comfortable time in terms of getting about. The real feature of Canberra, though, in the autumn is the trees that we have had planted across the city. Millions of trees were planted since the 1920s. And in the early days, many of those trees were European trees or North American trees, Himalayan trees, trees that normally would have the change of colour. And in autumn, the bulk of the city is this extraordinary cavalcade of colours. There's Manchurian pears, there's elms, there's maples, there's oaks, and all the different colours. And there's certain streets have certain times, for about a month or so where they're just spectacular. I love it when the Manchurian pears, for example, are just going that rich red that they do just before they drop all their leaves. It's a magic time of the year during autumn. Especially if you're not used to that changing season and that deciduous effect.
So there's obviously all of that spectacular colour, and the weather is relatively temperate. It's very comfortable.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about temperatures in, maybe up to the mid-20s.
Yes, that's right.
Overnight it could cool down to about 10 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, you might get 5 or 10, but it's not going to be
quite comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable time of the year, autumn. Yes.
And culturally, then, let's talk about autumn. I mean, some of the things that come to mind are, politically, if you're really into Australian politics, well, that's the time of the year normally that the federal budget's held.
Yeah, that's right.
If people are into rugby, well, that's when the Super Rugby season, when the Brumbies play.
That's right.
It's typically in autumn.
That's right. And if you're an AFL supporter, there's likely to be an AFL game or two during the autumn. The first games will be in Canberra in the early part of autumn, so in April or thereabouts. So, and then there's a whole range of other little festivals that go on as well. So there's lots to do. There's lots of activity against a beautiful backdrop of the city in its full colours.
Yeah.